Hello again. We've done almost, well, no, we've done the modeling. Now we're going to start materialing and unwrapping and things. So let's start with, we only need one piece and we don't need to take them out of place. So I'm going to just move this up and bring out my shader editor a little more. And I don't know what unwrap's going to work. We might even be able to get away with not unwrapping anything. Let's just set up a new material with a colour. I like the roughness. He's brown, so maybe we're doing the blacks first, I guess. Okay. And we want a wood grain type effect. So we're going to add, by the way, all these textures are in these lists, you know, magic texture, Musgrave, all that stuff. They're just in my quick menu for speed. I'm not here to take you through the menus, just to tell you what you need. And I need to. I'm going to go with a noise texture, and I'm going to stretch it so that we get long grooves. So I'm going to need a texture coordinates, which is an input. And let's start with generated. And then you're going to want the color ramp, which is in converter. And in between the texture coordinate and the noise texture, I'm going to put a mapping node, which is in vector. And I'm also going to increase the dark, just so I can see it a bit. We might get away with generated, you know. And scale one of them down to 0.1, not that one. Okay, I think we are. Oh no, actually that might. No, that won't work. Let's go with, see if object works. Yes. Okay, so we want that, the y-axis on one scale and x on. It's not going the way I expected. I think we're going to have to UV it. Let's just try. So select all your faces. It doesn't matter if you've got vertex selected. U, and let's try cube. It's done nothing. Let's try a cylinder. What'd help is if we go from the texture coordinate, the UV into vector. Let's try cube again. Oh, hang on. No, that might work. That's what I'm looking for. Not that much though. So I'm just lowered the y-axis to 2.8, and I'm going to bring this up, add a bit more detail, maybe add a bit of roughness. Not too much, and I might even scale that up and scale this down more. 0.2. And then we could probably just use that for bump. So add a bump node, which again is in vector, I believe. Plug your ramp into the height and height into the normal upward principled. Control Shift click that. I'm sure everyone has node wrangler. I don't understand why it's just not default. And it's obviously quite rough, so let's take this down to 0.2 and the strength. Ah, oh, you're joking. No. My mouse wheel's just gone. Right, I found one, but it's clicky. It's very clicky, but it works. So I can continue where I left off, which was drinking me tea. Might add a bit of variance actually to that, so we can just take this same output, just duplicate that color ramp, reset it, and let's make this. We can probably take this color by simply clicking and dragging into there, drop color, and let's make a slightly darker one for that, maybe. Not grey. Okay, and then plot that into there. Plot that into the colour. Put a little bit of variation, you see. So it's very slight. Probably make it a bit more varied. Actually, if we bring up the darks, not that much. I think I'm going to plop a little bit more roughness into both the bump and the colour. With a shift click. Clearly this needs to be to render higher if you were closer, but because we're far away, we're not going to see that from where we set the camera. Alright, that's that. That's the thing. So now we can just, because we Alt-D'd, this is just an instance of this, it's the same. So let's take all of them, shift click one of the bases, we need all of them and the bases. Shift click one of them, link materials, brush. And do the same for that. Shift click, link materials. Link materials, by the way, I never remember where it is, but that's just, again, it's in my quick menu, so that's where I'm using it. But you could just select whatever you're doing and then just do it up here. Just select this material, whatever we've called it, material 1, which we will call chess piece. Cool. Black. Okay. Oh, I forgot the pawns. Oh, the pawns have changed too. I must have selected them. Okay. And then if we select all of the pieces and just control select the board, and then we want to shift D these because they're going to have a different material. So, no, that's a bad idea. No, let's just, we'll duplicate one of everything. So shift D, Z, Y. I'm just going to rotate them 180. It's on individual origins. And in box center, R, Z, 180. Okay. Now we can just, let's select this chap, make it a new material. And probably chop that, and then not pink, let's get a slight yellow in there. That'll do. And then same again. Oh, select, gosh darn it, all these, not that, not that, not that, not that, and then shift select that, and I'm going to link materials. And now all I need to do is just Alt-D these. So now we're instancing a white piece instead of a black, or in this case brown, which might change, but fortunately that's very quick and easy to do because it's only one shader. So let's put another rock there, a knight here, and bishop here. There we go. That's the chess pieces set. Okay, so let's look at the board, shall we? I'm going to save that. So we've already added a checker texture, but we need, I'm really confused about this glossy thing, this roughness, because, let me just see, if I turn this, okay, yeah, it still works. Right, I'm going to turn off the sky. I think that's what's making this annoyingly difficult. You might not have a sky. That's better. Right, roughness. we obviously need to see the board itself. I've got metallic up. That's not very helpful. I'm so confused. The roughness is completely down, but it's changing nothing. Why is that happening? Let me just try a new, put in a new principled shader, principled BSDF. No, that's principled hair, BSDF. Damn it. Shader. Principled BSDF. So, if I make that white, and now it reflects. So if I plug that in, see what I mean? Why that was so weird? That BSDF just wasn't working. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Right, let's still, but that's too much. So I'm going to bring up the roughness slightly to there. And we can put maybe some kind of, that's why, idiot, it was never black. The checker was never black. That is what caused my utter confusion. I mean, the roughness wasn't working at all, but that definitely did not help. And now I think we can take a little bit less roughness, make it quite reflective. And I can't see the board very well, so I'm going to, where's the sun? Where's the sun? I'm just going to angle it so it's not so angular and down more. Okay, right, so we've got that, but I would like to add some texture. I think to do that, I'm going to look at a noise texture. And we are, what is this going into? Oh, it hasn't gone into anything. It must be object. Texture coordinates. I don't know if this, if I must have mapped it. UV mapped it, I mean. Unwrapped it, I should say. Let's see what happens when I do that. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. And then detail 16, let's add a bit of distortion. Maybe take it right down for a kind of marble effect. Do you know what I mean? And what's the best way to bring these two together? What mode? Get a mix RGB, plot that. So this is the checker texture going into the top of the mix. Let's change this to an orangey colour for a kind of marble. A bit more saturation, I'll probably do that. And a little more of it. Okay. And then I think we need to multiply that. I'm not sure. So put that in the bottom, put that in the top, and then Control Shift click the principled. Maybe scale it up a little more. Could it do with being a little bit bumpy? I'm not sure what would happen. I'm going to put a bump node in and just see what happens if I follow that with the bump. As expected, it's somewhat messy. 0.02. 0.04. That just gives it a bit of texture, but I think that is too much. 0.03. Okay, so that's the board. Oh, this is what I should have done for the material. How are we doing? 11, loads of time. Okay, so Ambient Occlusion is going to do a great job with these materials and these pieces. To do that, you want to Shift A, input Ambient Occlusion, take any old color ramp and just reset it. Plug that into there, and then have a butcher's, and you'll see once we bring up the darks, we start to get a bit of aging, I suppose, in the crevasses and whatnot. Not too much, but it just adds a bit of dust. And to mix that, let's just move these two over, put another mix RGB, which is going from this one into the color into this. Put this in the bottom, because then we can control its effect using this slider. And then again, Control Shift click that and check this to multiply. Ooh. So actually we could probably get away with a bit more dark. So you can see if I bring it all the way up, it's completely darkened these pieces too much. I mean, look at the pawn, it's ridiculous. So we don't want that much, but we do want it to darken up these chunks, as it has done very nicely there. You see, especially at the bottom of the horse. And we can just copy these two nodes with Control C, go into the white one, Control V, and because they're all using the same material, we just need to plug it in with, yeah, that's the color. So again, another mix RGB. Oh wait, we've just gone into this. So let's just make this, remove one of these pips, grab this color, plop it into there, plug it into there. We want a mix RGB, and we want that to be on the bottom, this to be a multiply, and that to be up. Now we're probably going to have to lower it a bit, yeah, for the whites, that's too much. So we want a bit, we want at least something visible. Yeah, just adds a bit of, I didn't set the camera up, it's set up in the perfect spot. That's random. Nearly the perfect spot. Yeah, so I'm pressing Shift. That, I think, does the job. So let's very quickly sort out the size of the cube. And to do this, we will, oh, and also we need to bevel that, because it's just sharp. So modifiers, because we applied the scale for that, this should work. Bevel. I'm going to head into thingy mode because I need to see that. Drag it all the way to 0, and then Shift right click, and then we'll add 2 segments to that. Let's have a look. Yes, that's much better. So yeah, we just need to make these a different material. So if we double click this edge ring, click on your material tab, click the plus button, and then assign new, and anything will do. We'll just add something like another something with a bit of texture. Let's copy what we have for the bump here. Control C. Oh, to this material, Control V. And I should have inputted the bump as well. That's not what I wanted. No, 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 no. I want this and the bump. Control C. click on that material, Control V. Thank you. And then brush that into the normal. And then we can probably get away with a bit more bump. Yeah, see, it just gives it a bit of texture around the edges. Makes it look marble. Okay, how long? We can finish this. 15 minutes. This half hour is my normal set. Yeah, let's just add we'll add the lights, and well, first we'll add the volume, the smoke, because in the image, which I've lost, there. So in this image, you've got this kind of smoky effect here, and normally I would use a noise texture to mess with the fog, but I went with a Musgrave, and I'll show you, I think, well, it should be clear why. So, copy the board, Shift-D, Z, and just drop it on top. And make it a new material. Get rid of all that. And, no, actually don't, because we could use the texture coordinates. But just cut the bump. You don't need the bump at all. Select that, Shift S, shader, volume, scatter. And we're going to plug the volume scatter, funnily enough, into the volume. Alright, and let's change this to black. And let's change this, Shift S, to a Musgrave texture. Let's just have a look what that's doing. Blender is behaving so strangely. No, it's not. Because we copied the chessboard, it's copied both materials. So it's still displaying one of them. So the one we want to get rid of is the top one. And now we have our volume scatter with way too much black. So for this, I'm going to, the details already up, dimension I'm going to want put down to 0.15. And then the scale to 1. No, it's too much black. 2. Yes, and then plug that into color, maybe. Control Shift click that. Where is it? There it is. Right, let's try that again. Maybe it should be in density. Why is that making it disappear completely? This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. I don't know what's going on here. No idea. If I plug a texture in, it always darkens things. Let's try color. It doesn't make them disappear. Okay, so can I change this to a Musgrave? Now? Yes, I can. Right, detail 15, dimension 0.15. Bring up the blacks a bit. So yeah, I use the Musgrave because it's got a bittier kind of texture than the noise. It's just got more detail, and I like it. I like it a lot. Right, let's remove this. I think that's cool. Oh, maybe just drop it down a little bit. Yeah, and now we can just light it. But first, I'm going to Shift, comma, and just zoom out a little. and we can add the lights. So save that, Nick. Turn off the sun and all will be dark. And then we're just going to put the point right in the middle of the board and add a light. Point. 10,000. We'll make it blue. And I think I'll put it behind white. Maybe down a bit. Yes, that is quite dramatic, doesn't it? Ooh, how very dramatic. And let's shift D that and make that one red, I guess. Yeah. I'll render that out. I would, again, cycles, I would render this anytime I've got volume. The minimum I would render is 800. I've got 600 here as a default, but I would minimum render 800. I'm just going to scale that a bit more on the Z, so I'm just making it a bit taller, the fog. Wait a minute. This is the issue I have not spotted. What we need to do is, because if I bring up the fog, select the fog, just turn up the thing, you can see this line goes where the fog is. So those white pieces are black on the bottom until I bring up the fog. And that's because this cube, as a cube, is creating a shadow. Not the volume, but the cube itself that it's contained within. So we need to go to visibility and turn off shadow. And it hasn't made a bit of a difference. It's not supposed to do that. Viewport display, let me just see if there's something in the viewport I'm missing. Shadow. It's done nothing. I didn't have this problem with my other... Why am I getting so many problems today with bloody Blender? No, I didn't have that problem here. Why is it doing that then? Why is it casting this bleeding shadow? That is so frustrating. I don't know why it's doing that. I've turned off all of the shadows. I'm going to save this. I'm going to close it and I'm going to come back. I don't know if Blender's just mucking me about or something. Is the problem still there? Why are you making that shadow? It's not that dense. Oh, bugger. Okay. I don't know why it's doing this, but I think I need... Because the density is really not that dense. .3. Still making a bloody shadow. 0.5. 1. I'm so confused. Let me put that in the density instead. Why in God's name? I've turned off the bloody shadow. Okay. Right, the only way I can think to fix this, or at least try and help it. Hang on, let me just see. If I turn off the points and put the sun back on, I don't get the same problem. What's different? Sun's shadow catcher. So hold up then. Let me just see if that makes a difference. Turn off that, turn on that. It's not doing it that side, but it's when I put one in front. Is that the shadow of the board? If that's what it is, it's not. It's nothing to do with the board. Let me see if I put that as a shadow catcher. Does that? It's already a shadow catcher. I'm so clueless as to why I'm getting this. Someone might know. Okay, so I'm going to try work around, and if this doesn't work, then I'm going to have to cheat it. Right, so I'm going to add a gradient texture. Not check up, gradient texture. Let's take that, plug that in there. This was supposed to be a quick and easy step. And I need to rotate that. So I'm going to need to take out of the UV, the input. I want a mapping node. And now I've got to mess around trying to find out which one. That one, 90. Okay, and I'm going to need to really scale this down. And then, no, is it X? Yep. And I also need to flip that 180. Wait, what did I do? Right, that needs to flip 180. Blind? Why is it? What? Okay. Minus 90. Okay, so I'm just trying to create a gradient that means it's not such a harsh line. Oh, wrong one. Oh, wrong one. I've still got a feeling it's going to be a harsh line. I'm going to take that down as low as I can get it. Oh, and then drop that there. Just increase the light. Okay. And then to mix these two, I think multiply will do the job. Multiply. Yeah, okay. Now, as expected, it has completely removed. I need that in colour. Now we rank up the density. Wait. Okay, so let's just see if I move this. You know what? What's happened? Oh, right, yeah. Right. Why is it so, just everything's going wrong here? Everything is going wrong. Why is it creating such harsh? And now it's gone back to normal. I don't know what's going on. You know what? I'm just going to be adding so much time to this if I waste more time trying to figure out what's gone wrong and why I'm getting that weird. I'm going to bring that down. I'm going to bring that across just to match up the sides. Okay. And then turn the sun off. It's already off. And let me grab that and just move it somewhere else. No, that point. There, that's it. We're done. Oh, let me get that far and move it forward a bit. There. Okay, that's it. We're done. We don't need to mess around with the light. I don't need to try and figure out why the hell I can't get rid of that shadow line. But that's the thing. That is all done. I'm gonna wait. Okay, just select the cube. Just bring that face to match that, so we don't get this extra space. Wicked. That's it. We're done. Nice. I hope that was useful. I hope you have fun. I hope you get nothing. And if you work out why that does that, please comment or let me know. All right, wicked. I've been Nick. You've been you. Until next time, farewell. Bye-bye.